Mikel Arteta has been and still is making decisions that are confusing so many people. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it because there's definitely difference of opinion out there, and I kind of want to see where you guys stand on the whole decision-making process that Mikel Arteta seems to be going through at the minute. We're going to be speaking Skelly, Nwaneri, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, the injury list, and more. Before we get into it though, if you could just do me a favour very quickly, it takes 2 seconds, just hit like on this video. So we're actually going to start this video on Nwaneri because it seems to be a topic that, you know, it's not just gaining traction now, but it's kind of a discussion that a lot of people have been having for about 3 or 4 weeks' time. So many people, when Odegaard got injured, was kind of looking at the situation and saying this is Nwaneri's time to get some minutes and show that he can actually make an impact and leave his print on this Arsenal first team. We've been very excited about Nwaneri. We've seen a few cameo appearances. We've seen him pre-season, and a lot of us were expecting, like I said, Nwaneri to have a big season. And when we saw the injury of Odegaard, like I said, that was the point where we said, right, we're going to see Nwaneri get some minutes. I understand both sides of the argument. There's people saying he's not ready yet. There's people saying throw him in. The people that are saying he's not ready yet always seem to not use the excuse, but they kind of lay forward that, you know, this is a 17-year-old player. We can't exactly pin our hopes on him to be the difference maker in some of these games where Arsenal are struggling. But to that, I would just reply, I don't think anyone that wants him to play is kind of pinning that on him. We're not hoping for him to have the same impact on games as a Bukayo Saka or Martin Odegaard. These are vastly experienced first teamers who have Premier League and numerous Champions League appearances. So to the people say he's not going to perform at those same levels, I would say we're not expecting that from Nwaneri, but we definitely think he can offer something that is lacking to this Arsenal first team. And it's been evident in the past few games. Arsenal have lacked that creative flair that we were so accustomed to seeing last season. And a player like Nwaneri, who does have ability in close control, laying the through balls and just linking up play, like he's a flair player, very technical, very good at bringing players in, at sewing together those forward plays that Martin Odegaard so often does. And that it's not a like-for-like replacement, Nwaneri and Odegaard. I think Odegaard's probably got more bite in terms of defensively, and that's why I'm sure Arteta loves Odegaard, because not only does he offer that dynamism going forward, but he's so strong defensively. Like, he is like a central midfielder, but with the technical ability of a number 10. But like I said, Nwaneri, we wouldn't judge him by the same standards of a Martin Odegaard, but I definitely do think he can be involved in plays that would benefit this Arsenal team. Like I said, we've got a strong midfield when Marino, Partey and Declan Rice play. No one can deny it. You've got 3 6-foot-tall giants patrolling, marshalling and dictating play in Arsenal's midfield. But at times, against teams when you're struggling to break them down, you do need something a bit different. You just need a different look. And I think that's what Nwaneri can offer. A short guy, very technical, good with the ball at his feet, and can carve just or craft a moment for the forward Arsenal players like Havertz or Martinelli or whoever will be playing on the right-hand side, Trossard or Jesus. I think we saw Gabriel Jesus in the last game. We're going to speak about him as well because, look, Jesus, at times, you see him and you think, if you do this week in, week out, you can be a brilliant player. But before we speak about Gabriel Jesus, just give me your guys' thoughts on Nwaneri. Where are you on Nwaneri? Do you think he should be given an opportunity to show what he can do more, or do you think, like the discussion before the season was, he will just take Emil Smith-Rowe's minutes? Emil Smith-Rowe played 5 games last season. Do you think Nwaneri will just pick up those 5 games? And we still got loads of time for him to do that. Look, we spoke on this channel a few weeks ago or a month or 2 ago and said we expect Nwaneri to take the minutes that Emil Smith-Rowe had last season. But when there's an injury crisis, which is what Arsenal, if we're being honest, probably are experiencing at the minute, you would expect a player like Nwaneri to be given more of an opportunity. Mikel Arteta was criticised a month or two ago by saying there's no pathway for these young players to succeed in the Arsenal first team. This would be the perfect opportunity for Mikel Arteta to show that there is a pathway. I think the fact that he still manages to play Skelly and give Nwaneri some minutes at times will kind of dampen the noise that is around Arteta in terms of not seeing a pathway. Like, he's promoted Nwaneri and Skelly to the first team. And we know Arteta's approach is, if they're good enough, they're old enough, and they will be given the opportunity, but he's not just going to throw them in because everyone wants him. And you do have to admire that in a manager. Like, he will do it his way. He will die on his own sword. And that's what Mikel Arteta is doing. But let me know your thoughts on Ethan Nwaneri. Would you like to be seeing him give more of an opportunity, or do you think Mikel Arteta is making the right decision by kind of just hanging it out a little bit? So on Gabriel Jesus, like I said, he's so good at times. But then, like, I saw him in the last game and I was thinking, like, he always wanted to be on the ball. And that's what you get with Gabriel Jesus. He always wants to be involved in the play. But to me, it looked like, not that necessarily he lost like an inch of pace, but it kind of seemed like, he kind of seemed like he had old man legs. And I don't want this to seem like I'm berating Jesus, because I actually really like him as a player. I stick up for him at times where a lot of people are frustrated, and people say to me, you're sticking up for Jesus when it's clear to see he isn't good enough. I'm not ready to say Jesus isn't good enough, but when I saw him in the last game, he kind of looked like an old man playing at times. Like the way his legs were moving so stiff, like I said, like an older player. I don't think that's going to be the long term with Jesus. I still hope Jesus can offer things to this Arsenal team. I do still think he's a good substitute. I probably don't think Jesus is at the level now where he can expect to start most games for Arsenal. That's just the reality. Bukayo Saka, when he comes back, will be playing on that right-hand side. And I do think that is a good position for Jesus on the wing. Like, I don't mind him up front. He's not... He doesn't put away enough chances for me. He misses quite a lot. He's not as clinical as I would like a striker to be. But on the wing, he likes getting the ball. He doesn't mind dribbling past the player. He's very skillful. He does operate well in tight areas at times when he's being doubled up on. He seems to wriggle his way through. So on the wing, I don't mind Gabriel Jesus. But where are you guys with Gabriel Jesus? Because his performances, recently haven't been scintillating. This isn't a player you can look at and say, wow, he's on fire. Are you like me, holding the opinion that Gabriel Jesus is a good squad player? Like, he's good off the bench, and at times when you've got an injury and he's expected to start, you're okay with it. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. So I wanted to speak about Martin Odegaard next, because the Norway manager come out and said something crazy that I hope is not true. Right, so Norway boss has come out and said, we have legitimate hope that Martin Odegaard will be ready for the next international fixture. I don't know what you guys thought when you first heard that news, and if you haven't heard it yet, what are your thoughts now you've heard it? The fact that Norway are banking on Martin Odegaard to be ready next month, or in a couple of weeks, whenever the next international fixtures are, to be ready for Norway. If I was Arsenal, I wouldn't let this player go on international duty. We just saw what happened on international duty with Havertz. We've seen it, with Odegaard. We've seen it with other players as well. Like, they seem to be getting injured on international duty. I would not be nursing Odegaard back to full fitness at Arsenal, and then as soon as he's ready, saying, do you know what? We've brung him up to 95%. Why don't you not take him and see if he's ready to start playing games? I hope this is just the Norway manager playing a bit of banter. It doesn't come across that way at all. He seems genuinely optimistic that Martin Odegaard will be available for the next Norway selection. And I heard that, and I just thought I had to bring it to you guys to see what you thought. Because like I said, I heard that and I was thinking, no chance whatsoever would I let Odegaard play. Even if he plays one game for Arsenal and then the international fixtures come up, I still wouldn't be sending him. And I know it's difficult because we have to remember that these players do want to go and play for their country. Like, they do want to go on international break. Odegaard will want to go and play for Norway. He's their captain. But there does come a point where, club football at times is more important. This is like a friendly, like, he doesn't need to be there. He's not gaining anything in terms of team bonding or anything like that by going away with Norway, travelling all those miles, flying out and then coming back to play a game a few days later for Arsenal. For me, this is a non-starter. I wouldn't have Odegaard anywhere near that Norway squad. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section. So the next thing I just wanted to have a quick word on Lewis Skelly. Like, I think he's doing very, very well. And it will definitely be a discussion when we do the breakdown video for the Liverpool game tomorrow. Like, it'll be interesting to see how many of you guys would actually start Lewis Skelly in that game against Liverpool. I think we're going to be struggling for left-hand side defenders. You know, there's rumours coming out of the whole injury list that Arsenal are going to have to contend with. Just listen to some of these players. We've obviously got Saliba, who won't be available due to suspension. We got Tierney out, possibly Zinchenko, but I find that hard to believe because he was just on the bench in the last game. Tomiyasu, Timber, Calafiori, Odegaard, and maybe Saka as well. And that, for me, that Saka one, I hope is not still injured. Like I said, there's more to speak about on Bukayo Saka once we get more information coming overnight, and I will put that in tomorrow's video. But I want you to let me know everything you've heard in this video. Your thoughts on Nwaneri, Jesus, Lewis Skelly, Saka, their injuries. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could, do me the favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.